Dina has she has a dinner with a medium, with like a psychic medium. I have to go see a
psychic medium first.
Oh, well, why are you having dinner with them?
My friend is having a birthday dinner at his apartment and invited a psychic medium to
I'd be
give us
all over that.
The dead people gossip.
Although, yeah, I'm less into dead people because I don't really care. Like, I care, I guess, about dead people, but I mostly all you ever want is for someone to like tell you who you are.
No, for sure. I just want to know, like, what am I gonna do with my life? Can you just tell me, and then like I'll do it? Like, I don't want to have to figure it out.
Yeah, like I love nothing more than when someone tells me who I am and what
me too.
I should or will do.
And here's the other thing: it's at 5:30. It's like perfect rage time.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
say the word. I'm on the next. Fucking, what are they called? Metro North.
Welcome back to Faywatch. This is Will, and honestly, we just have to get right to it because... Dina.
Whoa.
I know.
What about us?
Dina and Rachel are here.
Hello.
Yeah, Dina and Rachel are here. I had like a fun... cute little bit about we were going to pretend to be the Daily because we have sort of breaking news about Rachel informed us that like the male bees are being kicked out of their hives and it means something about a harsh winter is forthcoming.
The angry beekeeper told us. Again, will be more online.
Yeah.
Wait, but didn't I tell our other group chat? Like, I don't think I told the Faywatch group chat. But Dina apparently knows, obviously.
Dina just knows. Dina just knows. But we, frankly, don't really have time for that because sort of scandalous news broke earlier this week that rocked the Faywatch group chat.
Oh,
Dina,
God. Oh, my God, Will.
I believe you have a bit of a confession.
Oh, yeah, I did promise to do a notes app apology. Okay, guys, so...
This is going to be hard.
Remember... last episode and also in many other previous episodes where Rachel primarily, but also with Will on her tails, has, I would say, honestly, condescended to people who wear thongs.
The truth is coming out.
Maybe sleep in thongs. And I felt censored. I felt silenced. And so, I will say I was complicit in this at the time.
You didn't speak up.
I didn't speak up for myself and my comrades in thongery. And instead, I just silently, nodded my head and giggled along. And then I was editing last week's episode and I realized that I needed to be true to myself. And so I did admit to Rachel and Will that I, do sometimes wear that kind of underwear. And it's like... yeah,
in bed
and
to
go
sleep.
to sleep in it. I sleep in it. Sue me. Sue me.
Just right up in there.
Right up in there.
Chokehold.
Listen, it's gonna, whatever. I told you, it eats whatever's there anyway, so it's better if there's less of it.
Yeah, look, I think the real thing that we just have to clear the air about is, like, this is not a victimless crime.
Who is the victim?
Yeah.
And I'm predominantly talking about the lying. Because, like, okay, like, this... Sorry, right, I guess technically you're pulling a classic... romantasy male, and you're like, I didn't lie, I just didn't disclose the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, because I would have been bullied.
No, I think you could have changed the trajectory of that entire conversation. Like, probably wouldn't have, but you could have.
You could have.
Or I could have ran off of set crying because...
Off of set?
Yeah.
Out of your childhood bedroom.
It's only going to work if we're honest with each other.
Yeah.
And you weren't honest. And this was, lest we forget, an important education moment for me.
Right.
And, like, you stunted my growth, basically.
Okay, well, maybe it's that. Okay, so look past every single other aspect of my personality. Maybe I'm actually really a modest person and I just didn't feel comfortable discussing my underwear choices on air.
Wow, well, that's out of the window now, but
yeah, hopefully that one's not the case.
Wow. I mean, also, I guess there's maybe like a silent majority out there of girls who are just sleeping in thongs, and so, you didn't speak up, and so they were all sitting there feeling ostracized,
oh my God, I let my community
alone.
down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I do think that you all should still reconsider. Like, you need to it's just go commando or something. I'm sick of the nonsense. I'm sick of this tomfoolery.
No, that's fair. I told you I've like bought some boxers and I like the boxers.
Yeah, but like you have made it this far in life. I don't really want to ask anything further, but like I hope that everything is going well for you, and you know, we'll probably leave it at that. Well, I would hate to overshare. Anything else? Is there anything else you guys need to get off your chest that you've been fucking keeping silent about? No? Okay.
No, I'm
Open book.
like Mr. Honest Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay,
Honest
we'll
Abe.
see about that.
Ooh.
What?
I don't know. That was just a vague threat.
That sounded like a
there's
wow.
nothing behind that.
The claws are coming out. Okay.
Wowee.
Well, I guess we better turn this over to Dina before she storms off set. So
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, from one set of pals bickering to another, I suppose. If you remember,
Seamless transition.
Thank you. Last episode, we left off with fake Adis the cat outing Agent Silverbow, Cormac, who had like
Yep.
burst into Bryce's apartment. And so now we're dealing with the aftermath of all of that. Funny enough, essentially the first thing that Rune says is he's like, wait, like, is this true? And then he immediately is, does your dad know? Does my dad know? And it's just like, God, could these boys be more driven by their daddy issues?
I know.
Their
He's
daddy.
They're dad pilled.
They're
They're
so
dad.
Oh, they're
dad
so
pilled.
dad pilled.
It makes you feel so much better for all the other romantasy male leads whose dads have already died.
Yeah, they're the lucky ones.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Cormac is demanding answers about Sophie, who he knows that Therian is looking for. Therian, to his credit, reads it perfectly and is like, oh, you like her. Like, don't you? Like, you guys were dating. I bet she was your girlfriend. As Cormac is, you know, there's shadows going down his arms, fire coming out of his head, and he's maybe on a murderous spree. And
I will note, since you mentioned it, Cormac has both flame and shadow.
okay, I wanted to ask about this. He has both.
Because what's going on? Yeah, he has flame and he has shadow. I'm just saying. Coinky dink.
Wow, and a Scottish accent.
And a Scottish accent.
But how did he get both? He's just
Yeah, I know. It's because it's like
special?
one side. I think it's like one side of the family and the other side of the family. But honestly, I kind of have a hard time keeping track. Because like the daddy, I don't know. It's only, I don't know.
Because then he also was like, oh, I also thought I had the Starborn powers.
Right. It's like you're getting a little greedy,
Right.
but okay.
He is getting a little greedy.
Yeah.
He has the shadows from his mom's side, but I don't know why he has the flame like the Autumn King, because then it's like he would be from both sides, which they are very incestuous. But I don't know. Anyways, who can say? Who could know?
Maybe if they're living in those old ways, aren't they very pretty pro incest over there? Keep the
They
power
are,
and the fam
yeah.
and all of that. So Bryce is trying to get the boys to, you know, sit back down in their seats and use their indoor voices to talk things through. And Hunt is kind of being her personal bodyguard, and he's like, listen to the lady's advice and sit the fuck down. And that kind
Yeah.
of turns Bryce on, pretty much.
Or I'll kill you. And she's like, oh, murder king. Here we go.
Meow.
So we get some information. Cormac is also hunting for Emil, not for Ophion, just because he was in love with Sophie and he wants to keep a promise to her. Bryce is pretty fairly like, why should we trust you when you almost tried to kill my brother? Cormac is pretty fairly like, that was 50 years ago.
Sort of fairly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he was a teen.
Yeah, there were teen
Yeah.
boys
Wasn't a
roughhousing in the
murderous
woods,
teen.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So Cormac is kind of trying to recruit them, but he's also being so condescending to them this entire time.
Yeah.
He's talking about how he wouldn't want anybody to land in the Asterius prisons, and Hunt is like, yeah, I've been there, I know.
Yeah, like literally I've been there.
Literally, I'm the only one who knows. Maybe you should listen to me. And he tells Hunt, you might have made foolish mistakes in the past, but I won't.
It's like,
But maybe he just done his homework because he knows that Hunt loves to be next.
Maybe.
It kind
That's
of works.
true.
Maybe this
Yeah.
is just him flirting. Although he does do the thing that everybody did last book, which is talk about Bryce painting her nails while everybody suffers. And it's like, ugh,
ugh.
dude, she like saved
Snooze.
the entire city. Like, let's move on from this, you know,
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
I'm over it. But Bryce looks past all of that and decides to strike herself a little deal. They decide they're going to work together to find Emil. They're going to figure out all of the Danica and Sophie secrets. Cormac also wants to recruit Rune to work with him and Ophion because of Rune's mind-speaking abilities, which are super, super rare.
Yeah.
And again, the immediate question here is, are you going to tell my dad?
Yeah, don't tell my dad!
Which Cormac rightfully uses to get Rune to, like, go talk to him at a bar later, which we'll get to. But he's like, oh, maybe I will tell your dad.
Yeah, Rune is the most easily manipulated person on the face of the planet.
Be a little bit more quiet about your
Rune.
tells. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh.
Womp womp. And then
Sweet Rune.
Cormac does a whole, like, dramatic ending about how the world can be free and don't you want to see a world like that? And H is like, well, also, like, I'm really trying not to die right now. And Cormac is like,
he's like, no, like, I'm actually fine.
Really, yeah. No, but just imagine, I need you to just imagine all of Cormac, his wee speech, but like in a Scottish brogue. It really will get you.
for sure.
Yeah, and there's sort of, what's that movie? It's like a Braveheart soundtrack.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill.
Oh, I was thinking, in Outlander, again, it's my only reference.
It's the same soundtrack.
When
so.
Jamie is going from bar to bar, kind of rousing the people to their cause, and
Right.
He's really hot. Mm-hmm. Hunt walks Bryce to work because I guess in my mind, this initially had happened like in the middle of the night. This was very much a middle of the night conversation, but actually it was on everybody's lunch hour, and so now they all have to go back to work.
Yeah.
Which
I would need a nap
really threw
after
me.
that kind of revelation.
Yeah. Well, instead of a nap, Hunt and Bryce do the opposite, which is that they're like walking on
Opposite of a nap.
opposite of a nap, which is a alleyway makeout.
Ooh.
They're walking. Bryce is kind of scheming, and then she distracts him by being, well, this is all getting pretty dangerous. What if we just gave up that whole thing about not fucking?
Yeah, our stupid fucking pact. Thank God.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's actual
Better late
tension
than
now.
never.
There's actual danger. We can throw the whole fake bit.
Right. Yeah. She just like needs something to live for.
Right.
She needs some drama.
Exactly. And honestly, I can relate. So, his voice drops an octave. He like drags her into an alleyway. I don't know, I guess he's like pinning her against a wall. I think there's one leg up.
yeah.
I think we're going one leg up, not two here. I think there's
Yeah.
one. There's a lot of writhing.
Yeah, there's a lot of rubbing.
A lot of rubbing going on. Mm-hmm. I will say, I noticed, did you guys catch this? He could have sworn the world spun out from under him at the taste of her.
No.
What is
Say
that?
more.
Yeah. What are we noticing?
Okay, this is my favorite thing that happens, which is when you get actual hints and foreshadowing in the middle of a basically sex scene, which is that the whole, how they, Bryce can like travel through like space and time.
They sex teleport.
And they're kind of like conduits for each other, so they like sex teleport.
Yeah.
Totally no memory of that, but I take your word for it.
We'll get there
Oh, don't
eventually.
worry. You have so much sex teleporting in the future. Can't wait.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So hot make out sesh, and then Hunt remembers that she's technically engaged and they are technically in public, and getting caught dry humping in an alleyway wouldn't be good for the whole Cormac engagement ruse.
But I didn't get this at all because like they're very publicly together still. Everyone knows they're together. They live together. They're not fucking fooling anyone.
I think it's one of those things.
They got papped.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like
But I think-
the celebs are spotted walking to get coffee is different than celebs spotted canoodling in the booth at XYZ bar with pictures.
Yeah, except per the conversation we had before we turned the recording on, there's no difference because that's how you figured out Sophie Bush and what's her
Ashley
face
Barrett,
are together.
Right. And I'm sure the, TikTok slews of their day know,
Are
but
on
it's
top,
not
yeah.
There's probably some
every day,
rumblings, but
What is it? Demois.
Dumois.
Dumois.
Right. Like I'm sure
Dumois.
Dumois knows.
Lunathian Dumois knows.
Also, I'm sure
what's up.
Therian is Lunathian Dumois.
oh my
Yeah.
god. Yes.
Anyway, they decide to stop for now, and then they keep making jokes about going to like a seedy motel and fucking because Ethan's staying at the apartment.
Yeah.
And actually, back to Ethan, because Bryce has to run back to her apartment to get her ID, I guess, and finds Ethan on the coffee table playing with Danica's sword, pretending to be a warrior, and just like
Yeah, he's like jumping all over the place.
jumping all over the house with his sword, which is, I guess, maybe how boys process information about rebels and spies and such, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
I mean, you would if you had a sword.
Anyway, she catches him on the coffee table, and essentially, as soon as she does, the coffee table breaks, and Ethan flies to the ground or whatever, and they see secret documents pop out from the broken table.
Another stash of secret Danica. Lest we forget,
history papers.
Literally,
this
history
means
papers.
that she hid like a trove of information on a hard drive, but then a separate trove of information for like a separate mystery in the coffee table.
My number one question here is, why doesn't Bryce stop everything she's doing and take a hammer to every other piece of furniture in the apartment?
That's true.
The documents are essentially about the Asteri, and they're questioning the idea that they are what they are, right? Like, everybody believes their stars come to life and they hold the power of stars, and these documents are questioning that, but everything's redacted. And there's also questions about the first light and how it's used to make weapons. And then there's another document that says Dusk's truth on it, which is related to the quote unquote intel that Sophie had that could take everything down. Now, Rune also has to go on with his day, but he waits approximately 30 seconds before telling Declan and Flynn literally everything that just occurred that they were all sworn to secrecy about.
Yeah, they all obviously.
Like, Cormac tried to have a literal blood oath, and thank God Rune didn't do that, and he knew he was immediately gonna tell his pals.
But you know what? Fair enough. As he says, he's like, yeah, well, fucking Bryce and Hunt have each other. I get to tell, like, it's not fair that you just get to have somebody just because you're a couple. I get to tell.
No, single representation.
brothers.
That's true. That's why I get to tell 8 to 10 people everything that anybody tells me.
Like every secret.
So he tells them everything. Of course, the boys are immediately in for rebel shit and helping Rune here.
Oh my God. And Declan's like, yeah, like let's throw Mark in too.
Poor Mark.
Haven't you been dating for like a month or something? He's like, trust me, Mark would be the first one to say hell yes to
Mark
this.
would be so
He's he's like a big law attorney. He's joining the rebellion.
Everybody's just throwing their loved ones into the rebellion. My favorite part of this is when they have to really go hard on Flynn on not telling anybody, because apparently one time 20 years ago he drunkenly spilled some secrets to a nymph reporter he was fucking, and Declan is mocking him. And this is one of those high literature lines where Declan is mocking him with the line, "Oh, sexy nymph writer, look at your boobs. They're so round. They remind me of these bombs the Ox is hiding in their armory."
Lol.
Boys being boys. I just can't not love them.
Boys will be boys.
I really can't not love them. And, you know,
they're sweeties.
Who among us didn't have a bit of a reporter problem at one point or another? So I feel for Flynn in this moment.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
About Dina's
I think it's mostly
past.
just Dina. It's just Dina's checkered past.
It's not even really a joke.
Anyway, back to my boy Rune. He tells the boys everything, and then he has to go meet Cormac at the pool hall to hear his pitch, since Cormac did threaten to tell his daddy if he didn't.
Yeah.
And again, Cormac starts his pitch by being pretty judgy about Rune and his partying and his tattoos, which is fair,
rude.
But maybe not strategic.
Yeah, we have maybe been similarly judgy in Cormac's
That's true. When you put it that way.
Okay, but we weren't trying to actively recruit him. We were talking behind his back, which is smarter. So here's the sitch. Cormac wants to use Rune and his mind-speaking abilities to get back in touch with their most important kind of spy agent, Agent Daybright. Sophie was her contact until she died. They had these comms crystals, which are basically radios. I picture like a gua sha. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Will definitely doesn't.
No.
Like a little crystal? I know a crystal.
It's like a rock that you use to like sculpt your face.
Yeah. No, I don't know what that is.
Anyway, that's what I was picturing this whole time, was a gua sha that they somehow like tap into the energy of and use as a radio. A little walkie-talkie. Yeah. But they're worried that since Sophie got caught that has been hacked. And so they want to kind of use the crystal, but do it mind to mind because it'll be safer. This is super important because Agent Daybright is super, super high up, to the point that some people wonder she's legit an Asteri herself. She always has all the info about when the Asteri are going to attack. The other piece of this is that apparently the Asteri are developing a new mech suit. So mech suits...
I always forget we're like in sci-fi
I know.
future.
I really... I wanted to talk about this because I'm like... I love sci-fi. I know, Rach, you have some feelings about it. But I don't know how I feel when it's just random fantasy times sci-fi elements sploshed together.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we have like really powerful swords, but also we have big robots.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like crazy about the big robots.
Me neither. Well, it all just kind of like doesn't make sense how the humans are kind of even still in
going.
the game at all.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of had to have like a mech suit. But it's just I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. They needed something. And apparently the Asteri are now trying to make one for Veneer to wear also, which seems like a waste, but apparently it's, would really be devastating, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We get a short scene with Therian and the River Queen's daughter. He's cleaning his wave skimmer in the middle of the night, I guess, when she shows up with an in-person "you up" text, basically.
Excuse me, he's shirtless.
Sorry, he is shirtless. He is shirtless, you're correct.
Wow.
I was distracted because, okay, is it just me? Does she not have a fucking name?
No, I don't think I think
she's just like...
She's just called the River Queen's
whatever.
daughter the entire time.
Wow.
But isn't the River Queen just the River Queen? Like, does she have a name? I think they're maybe like, they're so... they're sort of an element. They're so elemental.
She has a name, I feel, because the Autumn King has a name.
Yeah, but I feel like I just feel like when she doesn't tell you people's names at first, that's when I start to get a little tingly, and I'm like, what is her name, and why isn't she telling us, and what does it mean? Because I tend to think this girl is not important at all, and she's really annoying, but then I'm like, oh, she doesn't have a name. Is there actually something here?
Only time will tell.
Oh, I feel bad for her. You think she's annoying?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Also, why won't he just have sex with her?
Right.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's like you're already in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm like, you can't have sex with anybody else. So, like,
pound.
Get yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Therian.
But he doesn't want to. I don't know. I just thought she immediately gets into interrogating him about who he was hanging out with. And the second he mentions a girl's name, Bryce, she just gets so jealous. And he immediately has to be like, oh, she's dating Hunt. We could go on a double date.
But, okay, she is, like, trapped in their little underwater SeaWorld. Her mom doesn't let her go up. So, like, he's, first of all, the most bantery, flirty person ever. Yeah. And he's just waltzing around the surface. And he's your boyfriend who won't sleep with you. And, like, of course you're going to be jealous, the poor girl. Okay, but can't she, like,
take a little bit of agency and, like, A, dump him, and B, go to the above and learn, I don't know, what a fucking phone is?
No, you don't understand, Dina, what it's like to be the daughter of a queen.
A mer queen.
I'm just saying, if I were the daughter of a queen, I would find a secret route to escape the castle, a way to disguise yourself so that you could go out into the real world. Like, she could be a little bit more resourceful here rather than just floating around whining. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Your sort of like peasant subject privilege is showing. You don't understand, like, the trials and tribulations and the travails.
No, my working class privilege. You're right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like, your life is yours to choose, whatever.
Yeah.
No expectations of me, just living the glory life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no burden. There's no burden on your shoulders.
Yeah. You aren't sheltered.
Okay, fine. Well, we can agree to disagree on nameless River Queen daughter for now. And like Rach said, only time will tell. Mm-hmm. We do get a little snapshot of our Comitium crew because, as you remember from last episode, the Micah's Triari kind of have been given buddies. And they have to, show Sandriel's old Triari around the school and point out, like, who all the cliques are in the lunchroom and, give them the down low. So Hunt is giving Baxian a tour of the Comitium, and Baxian is just kind of like asking lots of questions and trying to keep him there for longer. And Hunt is annoyed, but I feel really bad for him. I'm like, this guy has no friends. He has no idea what any of this is.
There's like a point where Hunt's leaving and he's like, I'll give you a lesson on video games tomorrow. I gotta get home. And Baxian, he's a sad boy. He's like, oh, like, that would be great.
Yeah, like, he doesn't even know what video games are. Like,
I just want to hang out with video games and friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel bad. And again, I realize that they're not reading the book. But I'm like, guys, he obviously doesn't suck. Be his friend.
Yeah.
So the old Comitium crew briefly reunite, Naomi and Isaiah and Hunt, and they're just like, oh, this is fucking weird. And Pollux is staying in Vic's old room. And again, no one is like, remember Vic? Should we maybe go on a little trip to the bottom of the Marinara Trench and get our girl who's been stuffed in a box down there?
Yeah, no,
like, literally,
it's like bottom of the to-do list.
Like, Hunt, like, your besties with a mare. Like, what you could, you know, what are we doing here?
They have like a lot of ballet invitations and such, you know. It's like hard being a new socialite.
No, the
in
schedule
city.
is busy. Anyway, so Hunt does go home and snuggle up in bed with Bryce, and they're like catching up on all their little spy rebel secrets from throughout the day. And then they start to kind of get into a little foreplay mode by making each other jealous about the last people they fucked months ago.
Classic.
Which I would be obviously irate. Irate.
You would kick him out the apartment. You're like, how dare you sleep with a nymph 6 months ago before you even knew I existed?
Yeah, no,
that's like a thought crime for rage.
Yeah, no, I actually have something next episode on this that I'd like to share.
Oh, cannot wait.
Teaser.
Well, Bryce does not do that. She does briefly go on a bit of a spiral about whether or not she's his type and if he usually likes skinnier girls. But she quickly snaps out of it and just drops some shit about that lion shifter that she fucked at the White Raven a few months ago.
Yeah.
And Hunt is like, I thought you didn't like alpha holes. And Bryce responds, I like them for some things.
Yeah, she's like, when I'm depressed.
So things are starting to get hot and heavy over here. And the foreplay is kind of weirdly based on the fact that Ethan's in the apartment and he can probably hear everything and they don't want to. So
yeah, I noticed this as well.
Hunt is trying to, it's been a while, I might be loud. And Bryce says, I could gag you. And Hunt replies, please tell me you're not into that shit. And B says the classic, I'll try anything once. And poor Hunt is probably terrified out of his mind. And he's like, okay, like, let's just start with the basics first. Like, we can get to that stuff later.
He's sort of shy boy.
He is sort of shy boy. Anyway, B is for basics and for Bryce and for a blowjob.
Wow. That was quite a little alliteration.
Yeah. Thank you so much, friends, for giving me the fucking blowjob scene. Thank you. Thank you.
Take us through it, blow by blow.
I am the one who will be gagging through this.
Wow.
The anti-penis animus coming out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, Bryce is very funny when she is in sexy time mode. Like, she just says the funniest shit. This time she's straddling him and she's like playing with his pecs and she says, your chest is almost as big as mine.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, okay.
He's like, no one has said anything to me less sexy than that.
Right. And yet he clearly does not care at all. So, you know, she has taken his underwear off and we need a couple classic references to dick
the way you
size.
said that.
Oh, sorry.
Ugh.
Sorry, she's peeling his boxers down his taut body or some shit.
Thick trunks. Just kidding. Okay. Well, I guess there's no easy way to say that.
At this point, Siri, classic fashion, sees himself into the bathroom and like kicks the door shut with one leg. Iconic.
We get a couple classic references to dick size from Bryce here. We get, well, this is a big surprise. Again, like,
ooh.
Like she's making dad jokes while she's about to go down on him. And then, of course, we get that you have to. This is, I believe this is rule number 273B, is that she has to say, there's no way I'm going to fit all of you in me.
Yeah, like, I can't possibly.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. We got to.
Anyway, then we get some, like, action. Avi, he comes in, like, 30 seconds, and our girl does the whole swallowing thing. She's licking her lip. She's like, look at me, I'm so hot, I'm a queen. Worship me, etc., etc.
Yeah, she does the whole swallowing thing. Yeah.
She's probably stoked. Like 30 seconds. That's like pretty good. You get in, get out, you know?
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, no, her jaw's gonna be okay, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully. And then Ithan, bless him, takes us all out of this too detailed moment for me and screams, please have sex a little louder. I didn't hear everything that time.
Poor Ithan.
Poor Ithan.
He's like in love with her and he's listening to her like deep throat like a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, points to him. He's handling it like a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he like weeps into his pillow.
Right.
Yeah.
Like poor little pup has no pack, is listening to the girl he's been in love with for years go down on someone, has nowhere to live, is stuck in this apartment, is like maybe gonna get pulled into this rebellion he had nothing to do with and maybe get murdered for it.
Yeah, he's sort of at like hopefully the bottom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hopefully it's only
the trough
up from here for poor Ithan. Hunt and Bryce do decide after that maybe it isn't the best time to continue having sex, and they go to sleep. Sweet Hunt has a very fun dream where he wakes up to a quick little catch up with the Prince of the Pit, who is the guy who they call him the Star Eater because he like killed the Asteri. He's like the main
different Prince of Hell.
Yeah, he's like the big
king of hell.
Right.
But he's a prince.
Correct.
Top prince.
Yeah, of the pit, of like the master of chaos, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's giving Hunt basically the same kind of master your powers spiel. And Hunt's like, I literally can't think right now. I just got the best blowjob of my life. Can we talk about this later? And then I guess he wakes up.
Yeah.
But again, unclear.
Is that his dad?
What?
Is that his daddy?
Is that his daddy?
Who can say?
Who can say? There are some comments.
Wait, why? Why would that be his dad?
Because he has a secret, very powerful dad.
Is, and
we're just searching for a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, searching for a dad in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Title of my memoir.
Also, it'd be fun. That'd be more fun if it was the Prince of the Pit than like an Asteri or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, so was this prince, was he being nice or not nice? Was he like, we're gonna kill you, like we're fighting you? Or was he like, join us?
It's very unclear. He says things like, I lost last time and I'm not gonna lose again this time. But then later on, we'll talk about this in the next episode, there's something about how he wants Bryce to be a worthy opponent. But then it's like...
Right.
I'm really confused.
Honestly, I have no idea to this day what he is saying and what he wants from them.
You can't do that and have multiple princes of the fucking pit of hell, but then it's a fake prince of hell because I'm like, I don't know.
But then it's like the princes of hell aren't talking because Hunt says we already got this from Adis, and he's like, oh, we don't chat, so I don't know.
It'd be really convenient if they'd spoken,
right?
Because that would sort of, I guess, it'd be inconvenient for like mapping out the story.
Yeah,
but
classic miscommunication trope with princes of hell in their realm, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. It's all very confusing. Again, we are very much in the meat of a Crescent City book here, where we have 1,001 questions and 0 answers. Let's swing back to Alpha Chi Phi at the frat house, middle of the night. Rune and the boys are, hanging out, drinking, smoking mirth root. The boys are hyping Rune up to do his little spying thing and get in contact with Agent Daybright. They literally say our sweet Rune is all grown up and spying for rebels. They're just so cute.
I know.
And Rune is like, just, keep an eye out for me if this is a trap and I start to go into some like weird, state, put a wooden spoon in my mouth. And one of them lifts up a wooden spoon and they're like, I already thought of that. You're good, bro. Like, they just take care of each other. It's cute.
They do.
They're so sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so Rune is doing some mental visualization of a mental bridge here, trying to create a link between his mind and Agent Daybright. He's like, hello, anybody there? Anybody want to pick up the phone? And then he hears a faint female voice and sees a female of pure flame. Or that was how she chose to appear, noting not how Lily was made of pure flame, but looked like you could still kind of like see her whole body, but rather this is somebody who's cloaked in flame, so the flame is kind of hiding everything about her, like a veil. Agent Daybright is like, who are you? And Agent Daybright basically essentially figures out immediately that Rune has no idea what he's doing because he's
the worst spy
He's
ever.
like the worst spy ever. He's like mumbling, he's rambling. He only accidentally, I guess, somehow cloaks himself in night and stars so that she can't see him. And he's basically like, well, I was just trying to see if we could make contact or whatever. What if I'm like, one of the Asteri spies? And she's basically like, they don't bumble about so much. I'm not worried about it. So they're immediately flirting.
Yeah, they are flirting.
Cute.
He's so lonely. She gives
He's so
him,
lonely.
she's like, okay, I'm going to call you Night. And he's like, oh, I kind of like that night and day. Like we're together.
Yeah. Also,
By the way, they're also Flame and Shadow, huh?
yep. They are.
Makes
They
you
are
think.
indeed. There's a couple of times in here where it says her voice, like he like loves her voice. Remember there's that whole thing with Rune in the last book about how women's voices when he's fucking them, either like he loved them or he hated them and he needed to like run away if he didn't like them. So he's a whole thing with voices.
Yeah.
There's also, he's like, your voice, it sounds familiar.
Uh-huh.
And it's like they've never talked. So I'm like, is it giving mates? Like, what are we,
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Why does her voice sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he hasn't heard.
I love them. He hasn't met. Well, okay, Will, do you know who she is?
I don't remember. I knew at one point, obviously.
Yeah, I knew that from judging by how some things you said in previous episodes.
Wait, okay, so Will, guess.
It's like one of the Asteri. No.
No.
It's Pippa.
So
It's
obvious.
No,
No.
Pippa's openly in Ophion.
Pippa. Oh, right. Oh, who the fuck else is there? It's Jessica.
No.
It's
Keep going. This is fun.
like what women are left. It's not the lesbians. It's not Hypaxia. It's the Hind. Is it the Hind?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, it only took you
Last
7 tries. Good guess. Anyway, it is the Hind. So they haven't met before, I don't believe. And something about her voice, I don't know. He really loves it. And he's kind of immediately like, oh, a woman? Should I be in love with her? And then he goes to talk to Cormac the next day and he's like, why didn't you tell me she was a female?
Yeah, like
and
I would
Cormac,
have put on like a cute fit.
feminist king, is like, well, I didn't know if you shared your father's outdated views about females not being in the line of danger. And it's like, sorry, both of you have outdated views because any men who continue to use the word females like this are red flags.
No, but it's because they're fake.
I know.
They do say male.
I know, but it's just every time I hear somebody say the word females, it just like makes me like kind of twitch a little bit.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, and Rune is just feeling so aimless. Cormac is something like, well, you just have to wait. And then like, whatever. Once we're done, I'll get you out of this, something. And Rune's like, okay, I could do that. He could go about his life. And after that, he'd go back to what he'd been doing, to leading the ox and hating his father, yet dreading the day the male died, until the next person who needed him for something came along. I'm like, wow, throw yourself a little pity party, why don't you?
I know. He's just a boy desperate for a purpose.
Yeah, he truly is so desperate for a purpose.
We leave the boys to their little tiff and we come back to the Triari, who are meeting with Celestina in her private residence. Hunt is having a bit of a little PTSD panic attack here because whenever they went to Sandriel's private residence, somebody was going to be tortured.
Oh, Sandriel.
Or Micah.
Okay.
I think either, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like a bad thing if you went to their private residence. But Celestina has like made it all like kind of like plush and welcoming and nice.
She's redecorated. It's so chic.
She's redecorated.
Comfy rugs.
Vases of fluffy, vibrant flowers grace nearly every table. Actually, that's probably like a bit too many flowers for me, but lots of lush-bodied effigies of Chthona, which seems great.
Just like, Chthona's lush body just everywhere.
Yeah.
Definitely not a gay woman.
Wow, honestly, Rach, that totally went right in one ear and out the other for me when I was reading it. Like I should have known as somebody who kept buying pieces of art that featured naked women like years before I realized I was gay. Like that's like it's such a tell.
I mean, I also appreciate, the female form, but, just observing.
Right, but it's like, do the lush-bodied effigies need to be on nearly every table and console?
Yeah, it's a lot.
So anyway, they're there for a fun little meeting about horrific violence perpetrated the night before.
Yep.
Essentially, what happened was Pollux and Baxian were at a bar, and Pollux tried to force himself on some young lady who did not want it and was, I believe, using the word no many times. And so Baxian went out to find him and like basically saved the girl and beat the shit out of Pollux. Anyway, Celestina is essentially on Baxian's side here, and she's like, you did the right thing, but now the Asteri are mad because this was a whole scene. And so they're punishing Celestina, but she can't say it like that. She's like, don't worry, the Asteri have figured out a way to help everybody move past this. And they've decided that she is going to mate another one of the archangels. And so they're going to have like this big wedding and this big mating ceremony, and it's going to be all over the news. And so that's going to get people to stop talking about the fight. But essentially, this is a way to punish Celestina for not controlling her Triari more, I guess, and to show her that they have complete control over her entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just want to give a quick shout out to Caspian's son.
Wow.
Who left a really sweet review on iTunes and called us 2 girl bosses and a best little boy.
Yay.
I am a best little boy.
Yay. Wow. Anyways, we really appreciated your review, so thank you.
Thanks.
And, if you haven't reviewed yet, if you haven't shared the pod, listen, do I sound like a broken record? Sure. But I just want to say, you should do it.
And
yeah,
that's
everybody's
that.
doing it.
Yeah, everyone's doing it.
And that's that on that. Okay.
Bye.
Well, until next time.
Bye, friends.
Bye.